flavor combination with a more subtle sauce," Julien says, this time appealing to the woman who is sipping from her water glass. "It would be a shame to cover it up with a wine that's more robust." The man, having pulled his readers off his nose and set them beside his bread plate, looks at Julien with a fiery displeasure. "It would be more of a shame for me to have to talk to your manager about your impertinence." The woman pipes up. Julien hopes it will be in his favor, but his face falls when she says, "Whatever happened to the customer is always right?" Her tone is dripping with, "What do you mean you won't accept my expired coupon" energy. It's this voice that he can't stand, even more than outside shoes on his freshly vacuumed carpet. "The customer is always right, but in this instance, you are both dead wrong," he says with a growl that surprises even him. But it's been a long day, week, month, and year, so he shouldn't be. Though he does wish he could gather up those upset words like fireflies in a mason jar and hide them behind his back. But it's too late. They're free and blinking, reminding him of the short fuse he's been trying and failing to rein in. "Well, I never," says the woman, pulling her napkin from her lap and slapping it down on the table. One end of the napkin lands in the garnished oil set out beside the bread basket. Julien resists the urge to remove it immediately before the stain spreads and spreads and spreads. "Are you even listening?" the man barks, pulling Julien from his spiral over the soiled napkin. "This is ridiculous. We try a new restaurant on date night, and this is the reception we get. I can't believe this place even stays in business. We never see many people in here." The woman nods her head, blonde bob swishing along with it. "Stella told me to skip this place, and we should have listened." She's standing now, grabbing her Birkin off her chair and holding it tight to her stomach, as if he were a pickpocket who at any moment might use his hands and not his words to snap at her. Frozen in place, he doesn't even notice when Uncle Martin, a short, stout man with unkempt eyebrows, steps in beside him. "What's going on here?" Uncle Martin asks, surveying the situation. Julien doesn't have a moment to explain because the woman is saying, "This server refused to serve us the wine we asked for." Uncle Martin's face caterpillars shoot up into his receding hairline. "My sincerest apologies." "Apologies aren't going to cut it," the man says. "I hope you understand we'll be writing a strongly negative online review about this experience. Never have I been so insulted in a dining establishment in my life." Julien wants to stand taller, point to his pin, and explain himself. Say to this couple, who clearly weren't listening to him, that he was only trying to help. Ever since age 6, when he started living with Uncle Martin and Aunt Augustine, he's been in awe of the service industry in general, and their restaurant in particular. Servers and chefs and hosts come together to give their patrons unique, flavorful experiences they couldn't get at home. From the moment this man opened his mouth, Julien could tell he ordered Cabernet everywhere he went, bought it from the grocery store, drank it at home, cracked open bottles at parties. Inherently, there's nothing wrong with being a creature of habit. He understands it well. He cleans his apartment every Sunday morning from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. and logs onto his one and only downloaded hookup app every Friday night after dinner in search of a reliable, stable buddy to relieve himself with. But with wine, variety is the only way to go. Besides, ever since Uncle Martin hired Chef Marco a few years ago and moved the menu toward more Italian-inspired dishes, Julien has made it his mission to ensure that his performance elevates Chef Marco's work. If the patron leaves dissatisfied, that's one less regular to rely on. And as rents rise alongside running costs, the doors at Martin's place could get locked for good, which is not a burden he's at present equipped to bear, on top of studying for an exam he hopes might let him leave behind this pocket of Pennsylvania and the painful childhood memories that still plague him. "I'm terribly sorry," Julien says finally, coming back to earth enough to try to salvage the situation. "Didn't you hear me?" the man says. "Yeah, didn't you hear him?" the woman crows. He hadn't heard them. Frankly, he was fixated on the words stacking up.